Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. My name is Mike Amos. His name is Forrest Lee. Run, Forrest, run, run, run. As we start a Friday, everybody's excited. Everybody's hyper. They've had their ninth and 10th glasses of coffee or cups of coffee. Being a little facetious now. We got a good hot cup of coffee thanks to the generosity of Stephen Camp, who runs this show over here. But we're calling and talking to you live on our Facebook this morning, and you can be heard around the United States, around the world on Facebook this morning. And if you got friends that you'd like to wake up out west, just tell me their names, and I'll say hoorah to them this morning. What's going on, Far?
Well, I had a great time last night in Luverne, Alabama, hosting
I was wondering about
the
that.
Crenshaw County Chamber of Commerce Christmas Parade, and I want to thank Miss Saritha Carter for co-hosting with me, and had a chance to talk with Donnie Nix, the president of the Commerce there last night after the parade. The Citizen of the Year
Who is
for
that?
Crenshaw County,
Donnie.
Bernie Sullivan.
Oh, he's my
Now,
buddy.
He's the mayor of Brantley, and of course was a long-time educator and coach there in that community. And Brantley is going through a revitalization program down there. They're adding restaurants and businesses.
Really?
Pilot Homes getting restaurants and businesses. Luverne, there's some big announcements coming for Crenshaw County as far as economic development that will offer some big jobs. And he couldn't announce it last night. He's waiting on the right time, but Crenshaw County is growing. Tag
Well,
number
I tell you
24.
a real positive thing in Brantley and Luverne, the highway to the beach goes right through there.
Oh, yes.
And I don't think that's not a big thing. And when they have those everything four lane all the way to Montgomery, that's going to really enhance business down there.
Never build a bypass around the city of Luverne.
I'm sure that's is the rule that now Elba, just build a bypass around it. I mean,
Right.
do you wonder why they did that?
I have no idea.
Unless they just had some leftover money and they wanted to take 84 through Enterprise and bypass New Brockton and bypass Elba.
Well, another thing, last night I walked into the Troy Cable office there. Of course, Dustin met us there. Dustin Gilley, he filmed the event, but Willie Ann Gibson works at Troy Cable.
Yeah.
Well, she and I graduated from Goshen in 1977,
Oh, boy.
and that is the first time I've seen her since we graduated.
Well,
That's
great.
40 years ago, 40.
Uh-huh.
And but Luverne is just growing, and they're revitalizing downtown Luverne. All kind of new restaurants are coming in, and little shops and boutiques. And Luverne the Crenshaw County is rocking and
Well,
rolling.
it couldn't happen to a better bunch of folks. A lot of great people in Luverne, and I know a lot of them. And of course, it's a beautiful city, and they have a great, loyal. They're very loyal to their community.
Well, the history of Crenshaw County, there was a fellow by the name of Anderson Crenshaw who was the first graduate at the University of South Carolina. Well, it was named some other kind of name, but it later became the University of South Carolina. So he's actually the first graduate of South Carolina. He moved to Cahaba in 1819, that's when Alabama became a state. And in 1866, I believe it was, when they created a county in that area of Alabama, they named it after Judge Crenshaw. So that's how it's got his name. And his descendant, Ben Crenshaw, is a descendant.
No way.
Yes, he is, according to Wikipedia.
Before long, they'll have a sign up home of Ben Crenshaw. Good morning. How you doing?
Hey, morning.
Mike Amos calling in from Grayton Beach, Florida. How is it on the coast this morning, my friend?
I mean, it's really pretty down here. Actually, I think the high today is 74 and sunny. Lows in the night, I think, are going to be 63, so it's going to be really nice.
Yeah. Let me ask you a
they had
personal.
cold snap.
Yeah, let me ask
They
you.
had cold snap come through, and it had been a little chilly.
Some of the people are forecasting rain tomorrow. I hope it doesn't rain on our football game.
I can pull it up and look at it here in a second.
Let me ask you this: last week.
The big win by Troy basketball last night. Thank goodness.
Tell me about it.
They blew a 15-point lead. I think they had the half, and North Alabama took the lead by one with about under a minute. And the kid out of Robert E. Lee, I think his name's Duke Miles, made a bucket and then made two big free throws, and then they were led by a guy that was kind of a junior college guy that came in. Walters scored 20 points for Troy last night and led them to victory.
Well, great. How bad they win the game?
Don't they play at home next week against Sanford?
They won by 4.
I mean, but we play who next week?
Yeah, they've added a game Sunday against an NAIA school named Central Baptist of Arkansas.
Okay, and they'll play Sunday. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
What time will that be? Do you know? What time that'll be?
I'll look it up on TroyTrojans.com.
Okay. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, this show is brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass right here in Troy. And, of course, nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody beats a Premier deal right here in Troy on the bypass. So Jason Gregory and his team getting ready for the holidays by selling a bunch of cars, brand new ones and new and used cars. And a friend of mine just rode by my house yesterday and had the biggest smile on his face. He said, I finally got rid of that old truck and bought me it wasn't new, it was a 2019, 2017 truck, but it looked like new.
Wow.
And he was proud, and he was treating it just like new. Excuse me?
Troy will play Central Baptist College, Arkansas, at 2 p.m. at Trojan Arena on Sunday if you're looking for something to do.
Yeah.
And then we'll play Sanford, I think, Wednesday, and then we travel to Auburn next Saturday.
Auburn next Saturday.
Sanford's scoring a lot of points under Bucky McMillan, the great Mountain Brook coach.
Yeah, I was wondering about him, yeah.
At Sanford, he's doing a really good job. They just went to Nashville, and everybody knows how tough it is to beat Belmont. They beat Belmont up in Nashville the other day.
Bucky McMillan, has he lost the game yet?
I think he's lost one or two.
We're talking about the former Mountain Brook High School coach, Bucky McMillan, that won all those state championships.
Yeah, the assistant coach for him is the legend, Dwayne Rebo.
Oh, man, golly, what a great coach he was at Birmingham Southern all those years, Mike.
Yeah. Bucky McMillan played for Rebo in college.
That's right. And a great coach. Rebo also, his lineage, I say lineage, basketball lineage, let's say that, goes all the way back to New Orleans and a guy named Don Maestri. And then
Maestri, Jimmy
Tillett, the former great coach at Sanford, yeah.
Yeah, they're all buddies.
Yeah, and of course they all came from that Catholic borough. Is it borough? Is that what you call it? A borough in New Orleans and New Orleans.
Is it called a diocese? I don't know what.
Yeah, we need to call Don Maestri today. You get his number, I'll call him.
You know, David Felix, I mentioned this on the show years ago, but David Felix did his internship at Goshen when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And he's no taller than I am, and he rolls in the gym, and we think we can guard David Felix. Wrong.
Well, let me tell you
He
this.
would step back.
He came from the heartland of Indiana, and Troy, I don't know how. I want to say he was signed by that group after Archer.
Bazilla?
No, it wasn't. It was Bazilla.
West Bazilla.
West Bazilla signed David Felix, and he also signed a young man from Headland, Alabama.
Carl Lee Hollis.
So at
Marvin
one time, Marvin Sales, the Yakadoo from Decatur. You talking about Marvin Sales?
Yes, sir. He played on that team.
And Mac Madison and all them.
I just remember the big three.
Boy, they were great players, but let me just say this: when Troy had David Felix and Carl Hollis, that was the best 1-2 shooting combo Troy's ever had. They could fill it up, buddy. Both of them, of course. One of them came from the heartland of Indiana. Of course, Indiana basketball was so big for so many years, and then then the great one out of Headland. You might not realize this, but he had two brothers that also play at Troy.
I've met their
One of them's name was Cleve Hollis, was a very good player, and there was another one, but Carl, of course, was. If he's not in the Hall of Fame, he needs to be in there. He needs to be in the Troy Hall of Fame.
Right.
And
Coach Felix lives down here near Drayton, somewhere on the beach, and is the head coach at Freeport High School.
Yeah.
After he retired from Troy, he took a high school job down here. Can you imagine being coached by a guy like David Felix in high school basketball?
Oh yeah, David Felix, I think still has the free throw overall 4 years free throw shooting percentage. He was just a great player and a great coach, a real good recruiter, and he and Don Maestri were quite a combination here.
Mm-hmm. David Felix.
And of course, his wife was a very good teacher.
Mary.
Everybody loved her.
Mary Felix. And Drew was a good basketball player and had a little girl named
Drew.
Addie.
That's right.
He had two kids, Drew and Addie.
Yeah, Addie.
Yeah, they all were. Yeah, no question about it. They were great kids too. No question about it. Of course, we've got a premiere.
Also interesting football news. Of course, I'm pulling for this guy. He's done a tremendous job at Arkansas State. Blake Anderson has resigned from Arkansas State and has taken the Utah State job. So John Hartwell, the Troy athletic director at one time, is at Utah State.
Well,
he's got Blake Anderson to leave Arkansas State and take the Utah State job.
That is a coup. That is a coup. Man, oh man, what a break for Utah State. How he did now? They must have done it with a check or something, a little money.
Yeah, I would think that would be a money move.
Evidently, somebody put out some money, but Blake Anderson's as good a coach as there is out there, Mike.
Yeah, he's won 2 Sun Belt championships and played for another. I mean, they were down this year; they went 4-7, but one of those wins was at Kansas State. So
I wonder what happened to them this year, Mike.
I don't know. Definitely going to be interesting to see who gets that Arkansas State job. That's a good job.
Yeah. Well, another thing, they had what a lot of people think the best 1-2 quarterback punch in the nation.
Yeah, it didn't really have the results of last year, though.
I know it. One of them one of them transferred from Alabama and was a pretty good football player, and then of course the 1-2 punch. What I'm saying, they were really good.
Right. Have the folks started rolling in from Coastal yet, Mike? Have they started?
No, but a Coastal coach came on the air yesterday, Mike, and said, we have no business playing this game. It doesn't mean a thing to us. That's what he said.
Yeah, I have to pull up that article. Boy,
I sure hope that Troy got it in their dressing room with a big poster up saying, hey.
He's really upset at the league, the commissioner of the Sun Belt. Here, let me read what he said. He said, it's a respect thing. While Coastal Carolina is upset it must travel to Detroit, it's a respect thing. So Coastal Carolina won 5 games last year, 3 games the year before. And he said, make no mistake about it, the Coastal Carolina football team, at least the coaching staff, does not want to play Saturday's football game at Troy and doesn't believe it should have to. The game was scheduled to be played on November the 14th, but it was postponed to Saturday because of Troy's coronavirus issues and injuries that left at least one position group decimated. So while Coastal prepares to play Troy this week, then travel to and from Alabama for Saturday's game, Louisiana Lafayette has a week off and 2 weeks to prepare for Coastal Carolina and the Sun Belt Championship game at Brooks Stadium at noon next Saturday. So it's one of those things that Jamie Chadwell said it's definitely a competitive advantage for them. I don't know how that makes sense for anybody, but I guess we'll be on our bus this week going down there. The championship game is a big deal, but that's above my pay grade right now, so I can't make these decisions. He said Chadwell appealed to Conference Commissioner Keith Gill of the Sun Belt, but to no avail. And basically it's one of those situations where the discussions with the Sun Belt, I think a lot of people had discussions with the Sun Belt, particularly this game. Our leadership, for whatever reason, felt it was so important to play. So whether 99% of the country believes that that's not right, it doesn't matter. He's the boss, so you follow what he thinks and is right, and whatever reason is behind that. So he is furious, and it sounds like their athletic director, the coach, their president did everything they could to get out of this Troy game and not play it.
Yeah.
Well,
you know, they say it wasn't a big game to them, but it was a big game to Troy, especially if they beat Coastal and beat Monroe the next week. Troy would be sitting very good in bowl recognition.
Yeah, he said we're going to play a game that means nothing to anybody really, as far as the Big Ten except us. It can only hurt us. It can only help. It can't help anybody else. It only hurts Coastal. Chadwell said it's a respect thing, to be honest with you, and our players have seen who respects us and who doesn't. So we'll go out there and do our best to win the game. A respect thing.
It's
one of the things that they are the only team, though, possibly ever out of the Sun Belt, that if they beat Troy and they beat Lafayette for the second time,
could be on a New Year's Day bowl.
Could pass Cincinnati and actually play in a New Year's Day bowl for the first time. So
well, that would help them.
I can kind of see where they're coming from.
And you can see a little bit where the conference commissioner is coming from too. You know, he wants that for the league. You know.
If Coastal was in the same boat as Troy and they had an opportunity to win a couple of games and go to a bowl, they'd want the same thing to happen to them if they lost a home game and if they were playing in Coastal Carolina and they were in the same shoes that we were. So if a student's out there, go to Walmart, buy about 50 pacifiers. When they get off the bus, throw them on the ground and say, get you one of these because you're going to need it going home because you're not going to be happy.
Let me tell you this.
You think Alabama wants to play Arkansas tomorrow? You think?
No, you're exactly right, Mike. But I've been talking about this all week. You know, of course, people are getting sick of hearing about what I said. But if you remember a week, 2 weeks ago, I said, I don't know why in the world Coastal Carolina, is not going to want to play that week because Louisiana, the other team in the playoffs, has got 2 weeks to prepare. You know, that does make a difference.
Well, the thing about Alabama and Arkansas, Florida's playing as well, so that's an even-Steven kind of thing. And, you know, Alabama's having to travel. They're playing early. Florida's playing later, so it's kind of even as far as rest and all that kind of stuff. But it gives Alabama an opportunity to be undefeated in the Southeastern Conference in the regular season. So,
and if you've got and let me tell you this, the guy that we ought to send him a birthday cake, early birthday cake, or send him a dozen donuts this morning, whatever, over at Brent Jones, the athletic director at Troy. He did so much to give Troy an opportunity to play 12 games, 6 on the road and 6 at home. And he's if Monroe goes through their contract, we will play 12 games, 6 at home and 6 on the road, which very few schools in the country can say that.
That's correct.
And Brent Jones, the athletic director at Troy, of course, you know, they had to cancel the game on the 14th. I want to say it was November 14th. They had to cancel the game with Coastal. And I believe we said at that time, what a break for Troy. Isn't that right? Didn't we say it was a big break for Troy not to have to play Coastal at that time?
Well, we were devastated because they canceled on a Friday. Like literally
that's right.
And keep in mind, in this article, Jamie Chadwell said, we have our COVID testing yesterday, which was Thursday. He said, we were very concerned about the amount of fans that stormed the field after we beat BYU at Brooks Stadium. We had kept our guys in a tight bubble, but we were not sure how many guys and players and staff came in contact with fans after that game. So they had their testing yesterday. There's an outside chance this game will still be canceled. We don't know for sure.
I sure hope not. And of course, they would love it. And but you know what? Would they have their guys eligible to play next week?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They need to hold them out for next week. So there's a risk and a reward on that.
Yeah, it sure is. Hopefully for Troy that everything goes through. Right now things look good, and an opportunity for Troy, of course, to play the number 11 team in the country, the highest ranked team in Troy's history, coming to town as far as playing at the stadium, at the Vet this weekend, and that's a 2 o'clock kickoff or 1 o'clock. What is that?
I think it's the 2.
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock kickoff, and it will be one of the top games in Troy's history, really, as far as playing a ranked team.
And you can still
at
get
home.
your tickets, right?
Missouri
You
was
still get
Missouri,
tickets?
Missouri was 16th or 18th when Troy beat Missouri.
Yeah, that's right. I do not know. I know at one time Troy had 300 tickets they were selling at $30 a ticket, and I'm thinking that's still the thing. And of course the band. I don't even know if the band will be here because of school being out.
Yes, sir.
And that'll have an impact on the pageantry of the game. But they might have a band there, and knowing the sound of the South, if they don't have a full band, they'll have at least a half a band, and so it will be some band members there to give Troy a little bit of a hometown advantage, but not much. You know, you and I were at that South Alabama game, and boy, they didn't have any kind of home field advantage, did they?
None.
And again, everybody's still concerned about the virus. And let me tell you, football does not come before this virus at all. We're just saying factual things that are out there. The most important thing is to wear your mask. I don't care if you ever see another football game the rest of your life, wear your mask and save your life. And
you know, you're in Birmingham. They're saying UAB's going to start giving COVID vaccines next week.
Well, that would be great. What's the deal on UAB? Do they play this week, or will they play?
Yeah, they're going to play at Rice with 25 players out.
25 players out now. You know,
Wow.
they've been hit. UAB in Birmingham, ladies and gentlemen, had been hit by the COVID-19 probably as worse as anybody in college football. They have not played a game in a month. Is that right?
Over a month, yeah.
And I read where
They have not played since October.
And all their friends have gone home for the holidays.
Boston College has announced that their athletic director and president has announced that they will not go to a bowl game if invited. The players are tired. They want to see their families. And talking of COVID, Alabama's announcer, Eli Gold, who's announced over 400
Eli's
games.
got it, Mike.
He will not go to Arkansas, and his wife has COVID as well.
Oh, no.
The Brooklyn, New York native.
Of course, he's got his restaurant there, and I wonder if he had to shut it down, too.
Nino's
He's
Italian.
got a restaurant over in Hoover. I don't know if he's still in it or not.
Yeah.
Restaurant.
Well, according to the article I read, he's part owner in Nino's Italian.
You know something about Eli that a lot of people don't realize. Of course, he comes from up north, and when he took over for John Forney, the voice of the Crimson Tide for all those years, they were wondering how he would fit. But all along, people in the race car business knew all about Eli Gold. He was their top announcer. He was the race car's top announcer. He didn't even have to have Alabama football to be recognized because he's so recognized on the race car circuit.
Right.
But now, of course, that was
He
back
did
then.
a NASCAR show. I don't know, 25 years probably. I don't think he does it anymore.
He is a true American. He is a great individual, and of course, he's comes from a long line of Alabama announcers. We were talking just briefly. We rode through the neighborhood this couple of days ago. I was in Birmingham, and my daughter said a friend of mine lives there, and she told me the name and the last name was Lucky. I said, Lucky, is that Lucky and Forney advertisement? She said yes. Because John Forney was a great Alabama announcer, and he sold ads for Lucky and Forney. It was a huge ad agency there in Birmingham.
I would love to listen to the radio when I was little because you couldn't get them on TV.
Yeah.
You had to pick them up, and just about every station had Alabama or Auburn, and you can't hardly find it now.
And then that great voice, that Musso, Alabama is in a full wishbone set with Musso at one running back, and Randy Billingsley, the youngster from Sylacauga, is the other running back. The quarterback is Terry Davis, the young man from Bogalusa, Louisiana. Alabama comes out in a full wishbone set to give to Musso. Johnny Musso, touchdown Alabama! And the Alabama partisan would love to hear this. Snap back, touchdown, the kick is up. It is high enough, it is far enough, it is good, and with timeout on the field, Alabama 44, Auburn 14.
Well, what about
you got the SEC has set the football schedule for next Saturday. You'll have games played that will not be SEC championship game. Texas A&M at Tennessee at 11 a.m. Vanderbilt at Georgia at 11 a.m. Ole Miss travels to LSU, kind of an interesting game at 2:30 p.m. And then you'll have Missouri at Mississippi State at 2:30 p.m. Of course, Alabama and Florida will play a late game in Atlanta at 7 p.m. on CBS.
And I tell you what, Florida would have loved to have been out of their game, and Alabama would have been loved to have been. Both of those teams got to score a bunch of points this weekend.
Yeah. You know,
Alabama, I feel like is going against a team that's actually got an offense that can move the ball. Felipe Franks and even the backup last week. You know, Arkansas got two really good receivers, got a really good running back. Offensively, is not bad. LSU, I mean, that offense they're putting on the field right now, Florida will destroy them.
You know, it's the worst downfall in the world. This guy goes from being the Superman of all Supermans to a guy that you might see at a post office with his picture on the wall. You know, people probably say, what is Mike Amos talking about at a post office with his picture on the wall? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
What am I trying to say? What am I trying to say, Mike?
There's a warrant for him?
Yeah. For years and years and years, if you wanted to find out who the criminals were and who there was warrants out for their arrest, you saw it on the walls of the post office. They would be posted.
America's most wanted.
So what I'm saying, this LSU coach might have his picture on the wall in the post office because he's a dude now, I'm telling you.
Well, that's another school that announced that they would not be attending a bowl game, but somebody announced, well, when you're going to go 4-6 or 3-7, what does it matter?
I've never seen a team drop like that. And
anyway.
In fact, I liked him, but golly, the more things that are coming out, he's not easy to like anymore, you know.
Yeah, well, that big tight end, he's opted out. And Michael, I guess you know about the Southeastern Conference is moving from CBS, where they were receiving about $55 million a year, and they're going to move to ESPN starting the 24th football 2024 in 2024 for about $300 million a year. So they're moving from CBS to ESPN network.
Can you believe that the networks it's like stealing you know, if you look at the difference. How much, give us the difference in
300 million or 55 million.
So CBS was getting $55 million.
No, the Southeastern Conference.
What I'm saying, they were
getting them cheap.
That was a very good deal for CBS.
Yeah, they were losing all that money to CBS.
They still have SEC games till the 2024, so they're going to be on CBS for several more years.
Yeah, but now you said what?
Well, they're going to go to ESPN for a more lucrative deal.
Yeah,
about 300 plus.
But it's not until 2024.
Right,
yeah,
2024.
But it will be a big deal then, and you know, college football is a huge. That's why you've got it now. The money situation would have just been terrible if they would have shut down football in the SEC.
How did the Christmas lights look in Mountain Brook? Was it real pretty up there?
Yeah, it was real pretty. You know, what they do, they come around the neighborhoods and they have these trees. They'll come up to your door and say, all right, would you like a tree? And I said, yeah. They would say yes. And it would have white lights on it, and they cost them $50. and then another 50 if you wanted it decorated and whatever. And then it went toward the schools. There was money to make, the profits went to the schools. So most every house in Mountain Brook and different subdivisions around it would have a tree, a real tree. It's a real tree with white lights on it, and right through the neighborhood at night, about like going through Crow Hill, you know, the white lights at night, and that's what it is. Some of them have colored lights, and some of them have white lights.
Right, and Troy Cable is doing the 25 nights of Christmas lights this year, and I think last night they featured that little subdivision and Enterprise that you can drive through.
That's right, yeah.
So look for the 25 nights of Christmas lights here on Troy Cable Channel 2.
Yeah, and of course the Christmas music is what's so important too, and you know, we were excited about that too. Of course, we're getting ready to.
We had football games yesterday. Rams were looking really good. Blew out New England last night, 24-3. So New England's out of the playoff picture. Good win for Southern Miss last night. They beat Florida Atlantic 45-31. So their season's over, and they got Will Hall as their new head coach.
All right. Next year. Southern Miss won the game.
Yeah, 45-31.
Over who?
They're in Florida Atlantic. They're a 9-point underdog. Florida Atlantic was 5-2 going into that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did Will Hall, was he coaching that team?
No. They had an interim coach.
Okay, so he hasn't taken over yet. That was a good move. Wouldn't that have been a good move for South Alabama to have got him? I'm glad they didn't.
Then you got Georgia Tech. They played at home against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh won 34-20. And then everything else was just basketball. I want to mention again, Troy had a big win on the road last night.
Did you grade your paper over there?
Congratulations to Coach Pauls on his second victory of the year.
Who's that?
Was mentioned Troy went on the road at UNA in basketball last night.
Oh yeah, that was a big win over old arch rival North Alabama, and I was glad to win that game.
Hey, Mike,
that's a football school. A basketball school. North Alabama was.
While your dad grades my paper from last week, let me mention something that I've just kind of got a feeling about. The New Orleans Saints and the city of New Orleans have agreed to drop the capacity seating for the December 20th and possibly the December 25th game. On the 20th of December, the Kansas City Chiefs comes to New Orleans. The capacity is dropping from 15,000 spectators down to 3,000. Well, on the 25th of December, when the Vikings come, they expect it to stay at 3,000 fans to enter the stadium. Well, within a week, one of the semifinal games will be in that same Mercedes-Benz Stadium. 3,000 fans, Rose Bowl, no fans. So, that's what they've agreed upon because of COVID issues. And now, but the Southeastern Conference Championship game that will be held next week in Atlanta at that Mercedes-Benz Stadium, it holds about 71,000, but they're going to allow 16,500 fans. So that's a big issue coming up as far as fans being able to attend games.
Yeah.
We got another caller.
Let me put you on hold.
I guess it's a issue with governors, and each state chooses to do things differently. I guess.
Let me put you on hold a minute here, and let's pick up this line. Good morning, you're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hey, Mike. Will Matthews.
Will Matthews calling from Ozark. Let me put you on hold here a second. Okay, let's bring Mike Amos into the fold, and Will Matthews into the fold. And we got both of you. How you doing? Mike Amos from Grayton Beach, Florida is on the line, along with Will Matthews. Are you calling from Ozark or Dothan this morning?
I'm calling from Panama City Beach.
Oh, you at the Yellow House. Are you at the Yellow House?
And I have terrible news. It's awful news.
What?
Thomas Donuts is closed for the rest of the year.
I cannot believe they do that to me. I cannot believe they do that to me.
They must be open until February.
Well,
I tell you what, they deserve it. They deserve a break, though. My goodness, that place.
And how long are they going to be gone?
February.
Golly, that's too big a vacation. You know, of course, people don't realize that
Without donuts.
that Mike owns both of them. He's just. I reckon he just raked in enough money in 9 months or in 10 months. He doesn't need to be open the last 2 months of the year.
It's like Captain Anderson, the same way they close.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Cafe 38 is closed down here for a month. Barago, my favorite Italian restaurant's closed. It's a lot of restaurants closing.
How about the Red Bar? Is it closed?
Oh no, Red Bar is wide open. They're
That's
wide
good.
open. They got live music every night.
What is that Jed Clampett, that band I like so much, called Jed Clampett?
Dread Clampett.
Red Clampett. What did I call it?
You called it Jed.
Well, either way, I like old Clampett. That's a good band.
Max Bauer
Yeah,
Jr.
they're the personal band of Kenny Campbell and Christopher Campbell. They play in
That's
Florida.
right. That's right. And of course, there's a lot of heartache out there in the Troy community. We've lost several good people recently, some to the COVID and some just out of natural causes. But our hearts and our minds will go down with them forever. I tell you, I lost some sweet
they're having
friends.
Miss Beard's funeral today, and there was no sweeter lady or classier lady I've ever met than Joan Beard. I mean, it just breaks my heart for the Beard family. And
you know, I was looking at her picture.
And Stacy and Mr. Benny. I'm heartbroken over all this.
Well, I was looking at her picture yesterday, and I said, you know what? That is as pretty a smile as the Lord ever given anybody. And of course, we lose that smile from Joan, but we'll always remember that beautiful smile. And those girls, those three beautiful girls, Carmen and Stephanie and Stacy, and those beautiful smiles. And now they've got daughters that have that same beautiful smile. So, hey, as long as there's some lineage out there, people will always remember that gorgeous smile of Joan Beard, and we're gonna miss her. And of course, a lot of friends are heartbroken, not only because of losing her, but other members of our community. And we've got to be responsible. That's what's so important. And wear your mask when you're not at home in your own house. So please wear your mask. And if you're at the football game tomorrow, wear your mask.
Hey,
Yeah.
Mike, let me ask you a question. Last night, Mike's Live was supposed to make some kind of breaking announcement at 6 o'clock, and I missed it. Do you know what it was?
Mike Slob passed away. The commissioner is Greg Sankey.
Was that recently? Was that today?
Yeah, Sankey was supposed to make an announcement last night at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything.
I have not seen it. I have not seen it. So I
Is
don't
it-
know what it was.
What's it related to?
I think it's the Southeastern Conference going from CBS to ESPN.
Yeah.
I mean, about canceling some games or something?
I don't know, and I missed it. So I thought you might know or look it up or something.
Well, when I was listening to Paul Feinbaum going to Luverne, it was the SEC moving from CBS to ESPN in 2024 and getting a lucrative contract is what I related that to with Commissioner Sankey. Is that correct?
Yes, you're right.
I think it was that announcement there that was
Yeah,
made
it's
late.
got to be that. I don't know anything else. I haven't seen anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, it's a 10-year deal with ESPN making $300 million a year.
You know, what I'm saying though is it's so lucrative. Wouldn't you sort of think that CBS had been hiding something? Will I mean, for you know the little as they are paying the SEC, you know, compared to what they're going to have to pay them, it's unreal.
You got to remember, CBS. It's not just when you make the move. ESPN is ABC, so now all the big games will be on ABC instead of CBS.
You all right? Okay. I was looking at last week's picks, and I was on the Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram Truck Picks of the Week, and it's going to go down the wire. It looks like again this week. Some of the games that were tough ones to pick. One of them was Louisiana against App State, and I think everybody took App State except for maybe one person.
No, I took Louisiana.
Let's see here.
I took Louisiana. Force took Louisiana.
I got you. Well, you know what? No, that was me. No, I got you now. Here we go. You're right. You had Los Angeles. I mean, you had Louisiana. You had Louisiana Lafayette. You're right.
Hey, let me just tell you, the Lafayette coach tried to give the game away. I've never seen such a horrible coaching decision in my life.
You mean on taking the safety?
He did.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
He took the safety, and he also, they had to, kick off. They got the ball at the 45-yard line. All they did was a field goal, and he missed a 30-yard field goal that would have put it in overtime.
Yeah.
Missed it badly.
Yeah, he did.
Coach Brown, and dear friend, great guy, but he's starting to take it on hard times right now. Hey,
that game's canceled, Dad. Oklahoma and West Virginia were not.
All right, well he ought to praise the Lord for that, because they were fixing to get smacked, I'm sure. A team that a lot of people think their coach might deserve some recognition as Coach of the Year. North Carolina State's Doran, Mike, is getting on what he's done with that North Carolina State team. And we were supposed to play them originally, and they were, boy, he's got a good team.
I think they've won 7 games.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, I'm going down the list of some of the games that were tough. Georgia, and of course we'll be talking about them in a few moments. Look out, they could be in a trap situation. Washington lost to Stanford. Some of these teams out west are playing pretty good right now. Oregon got beat by Cal, and BYU, of course, in the big game lost to Coastal Carolina. And now it's a mad Coastal Carolina team that's going to come to Troy tomorrow. And I'll tell you what they're going to be mad about. They'll probably take a bus. It's just too expensive for anybody unless that billionaire guy pays their way. But I'm thinking they'll probably bus in here, and they'll bus into, this is what's going to happen. They'll bus into Montgomery. They used to go to the home site and walk, the field and, get a little feeling for the game and so forth. Well, they don't do that anymore. They'll spend the night downtown Montgomery, and in the morning, see the game's at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm sure they'll have them up around 7 o'clock, probably 8 o'clock at the most. They'll eat breakfast. Then they'll bus all the way to Troy, Alabama, 60 miles from downtown Montgomery. And they say, when are we going to get here? All I see is farmland and what is this place over there? Sights and Con, and that's about the only thing that they might see that's exciting to them. But they go in and they get to Troy about let's say around 10:30 maybe, and the players will walk the field. They'll walk up from the dressing room, and they'll walk up the field and around the field. This is what most of them do. And they'll go back and to the dressing room and sit and put on their their pants and jerseys, and just sit around and wait. Sit around and wait. And about 12:30 they'll go up. The kickers will go up and start kicking around, and then some other specialty guys will start kicking around. And about 1 o'clock, or maybe 12:45, the teams go out and start working out, and then they'll go back and wait for the kickoff. That's what that team's going to face. Very similar to what that team's going to face. They're going to get up early in the morning to eat breakfast and come to.
They do this every Saturday.
I know that, and that's what makes it sort of difficult for Troy. I mean. Troy does not have a hotel that could handle a team coming in, and so they have to stay in Montgomery. And what's the name of the hotel in Montgomery?
The Marriott.
Why Why can't they stay at the Hampton Inn or the Courtyard? Marriott. Those aren't horrible hotels.
Well, they don't have enough room, Mike. They still, we're talking about, now I don't know, since it's a conference game, I think they can dress maybe 65.
They said the Renaissance. They said the Renaissance in Montgomery.
Downtown, either the Renaissance or the place across the street. They might stay at the place across the street.
Embassy Suites.
Embassy Suites. They'll stay at a very nice place here in Montgomery. But again,
Mike, does Troy have a chance to win this game?
yes, sir. In fact, I've already predicted them to win the game.
They definitely do. Go read some articles about how bad Coastal was trying to get out of this game, and the coach don't want to play it, and don't want to play it down here.
I know they didn't want to play it because Louisiana's got the week off, and then they play next week for the championship.
Yes, you're right.
We read an article. They appealed to the Sun Belt commissioner, and the president was involved. The athletic director was involved. They tried to do everything they could to get out of this game.
Exactly. We've got our scores in from last week's Pickett show, and I'm just going over.
Good talking to you.
Hey, well, listen. Let me ask this before you go. You got any picks? Anybody that jumps out at you?
Well, I think Alabama will blow out Arkansas, and Florida will blow out LSU, and I think Tennessee will blow out Vandy, and I like all the favorites. Who it plays? Georgia plays Missouri. That won't be anything. Yeah. They'll beat them to death.
All right. One thing I think you need to think about, and everybody says that Vanderbilt they said you can put a fork in Vanderbilt because they're not going to be ready. I think they'll be ready, and they're going to play Tennessee tough. I think that's going to be a tough game.
Hey, Vanderbilt is so bad. You out of your mind. They can't score.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. They scored a couple of weeks ago. They've got a young quarterback. What's his name, Mike?
Oh God, I don't even know.
What was the last couple of Vanderbilt scores? I think they've got a little offense. What I'm saying is I don't think Tennessee's very good.
Well, Tennessee will beat Vanderbilt. I think Tennessee's quit.
Really? Have they? And then of course, they're playing with a assistant coach.
Broke everybody's heart and covered against Florida though in the last seconds last week. Oh, that was ridiculous. Yeah.
And how many points they score?
That hurt me bad.
What about Auburn, Mississippi State?
Okay, that's what you get for going against your team.
Well, that's
Mr. Will, what about Auburn versus Mississippi State? What do you think there?
I like Mississippi State in that game. I think they might win it outright. Man, Gus would be in tremendous trouble if they lost us. Well, he's in tremendous trouble anyway. They're just gathering up the money right now to get rid of it.
Well, Will, we hope you have a great weekend. Of course, you're going to be at the beach the whole weekend?
No, I'm going back today.
All right, well, take care of yourself, my friend, and we'll look forward to hearing from you next week.
See you guys later.
Thank you. Of course, that's Will Matthews, Matthews Law Firm right here in Troy, Alabama. We appreciate them very much. Mike Amos is on the line from and here.
Yeah, I'm trying to get back on Zoom right now.
And y'all are not going to believe this, the difference in what happened last week. Looking at how they came out. Taking a look at Forrest Lee, he was 15-10. Yours truly was 15-10. Evidently, somebody copied their paper. And then let's look at this. Jason was 15-10. So three people were 15-10. And here we go. Mike Amos from Grayton Beach, Florida. I don't know how he was able to pull this out, but he was 19-6.
Congratulations.
So Mike Amos is sort of running away with this thing right now. I don't know. Is it because I'm cheating and you're sending in your picks late?
I mean, you write down my picks every week, so I guess I'm not cheating.
No, yeah, I don't reckon you are. Well, we give
I'll be honest with you. I can't remember how I did in hockey games. kind of all over the place.
Yeah. Before we get into this, and we'll be picking these games in just a few moments, some of the things that are going on. Forrest was at the parade last night. Was it a good crowd in Luverne?
Well, I believe it was a good crowd. We were in that one location in downtown Troy, but there were a number of floats.
You mean you didn't go to Luverne?
Yeah, we went to Luverne, but
Okay.
It's so spread out where people were. But they had a great crowd, a lot of floats, a lot of trucks and motorcycles and beauty queens.
Getting ready for Christmas.
Getting ready. Oh, downtown Luverne is beautiful.
Of course, shop Christmas. Shop
Shop
Luverne
local.
for Christmas. Shop Brundage for Christmas. Shop Troy for Christmas. We want you to support local stores and businesses. And of course, right now there's a real importance to really be conscious of supporting your local businesses. Looking at of course, Mike wins with a 19-6 run. Let's get ready this morning. And of course, a lot of things have been canceled. Of course, it was great that Troy was able to, all these small towns were able to have their parades. And of course, there'll be some other special events. But there were some people that were able to, that had to cancel some of their activities. And it's not going to be like Christmases have always been with all the different functions going on because of the COVID-19 situation. And it is very, very important that you be very conscious of this virus, and that when you're away from your home, and if you're shopping downtown or you're at the football game this weekend, especially at this football game this weekend, stay at least 6 to 9 feet away from the next person, and be very conscious of crowds, and wear your face mask.
Don't be giving anybody high fives.
That's right, no high fives or elbows. If you want to give somebody an elbow or somebody like that, that's a shake. But be conscious. It's going to be a big game, an exciting game, no question about it. And thanks to the athletic director at Troy, he was able to pull this off. And if Troy could beat Coastal Carolina next week, tomorrow, and then beat Louisiana Monroe on the Thursday night, and that's going to be a Thursday night home game right here in Troy. Isn't that exciting?
Back to
Division I football in Troy for the
Right.
the next 5 days. Is that right?
That's
2
right.
games in the next 5.
Throw in a basketball game too.
Troy's going to win both of these to get into a bowl.
Yeah.
And we've got a basketball game Sunday night at home. So we got a lot to choose from. So let's get into it. I'll tell you what let's do. Let's take our first break. We'll be back with more of Today in L.A. and premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks picks of the week. And I will tell you who will win in college football this week.
Merry Christmas from Stephen Sanders Trucking. Merry Christmas from Wiley Sanders Truck Line. Are you ready for these
yes,
toys?
Yes, sir. Bring the toys to me.
Let's have fun. Merry Christmas. Let's have fun. Hurry, boys and girls. Hurry. It's what time of the year?
Christmas time.
And what do we say?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you from Wiley Sanders Truck Line and Stephen Sanders Trucking.
Let's make this the biggest toy drive ever. Townsend's, Troy Cable, Trojan Detail. Those are your drop-off points.
Our history is woven with the stories of those we serve. At Max, we've been a good community partner for 65 years. Max is dedicated to providing dependable financial services and to supporting our communities. We volunteer our time and share our resources. As a credit union, we've returned millions of dollars back to our members, local nonprofits, and small businesses. Max is honored to be a part of your story. We look forward to serving you for years to come.
Trojan Auto Parts of Troy, home of Napa Know-How. Stop by and see owners Mike and Melissa Kilcrease and their Napa Know-How team with over 100 years of combined experience. We're the only locally owned parts store in Pike County, and we're fully stocked and ready to serve you. We pride ourselves on being your go-to parts store, not only for the simple items, but we specialize in those hard-to-find items as well. Trojan Auto Parts, the right part at the right price at the right time. Napa, a name you've trusted here in Troy since 1945.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
I have to look it up.
But it's not. It's private though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Green Hill.
All right, here we go. Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen. Brought to you, of course, by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass. Nobody beats a Ram deal. Nobody beats a Premier deal, and they're located on the bypass right here in Troy. Of course, Mike wins last week. I don't know how he was able to come up with a 19-6 record when the rest of us were 15-10, but he did. All right, let's start off and tell me if they're not going to play Duke and Florida State. Duke at Florida State. Who you like? Two teams that have had so.
What day is that? Saturday?
That's Saturday, yeah. Or is that a Friday deal?
Let me see if I can find it real quick.
I've got it right here somewhere. Let's see here.
Tonight you got North Texas against Utah, Arizona State against Arizona, and Nevada against San Jose State.
We're not playing any of those. Okay.
I thought Florida State season was over.
I've got Duke at Florida State, and let's see if I'm right or wrong. Well.
Yeah, they're playing. Duke Florida State will be on the ACC network at 3 p.m. Florida State is 5.5 point favorite.
Okay.
I'm going to pick Florida State.
Okay, you got Florida State?
I'm going to give them a
This
shot.
Florida State is not played in a month.
You know what? This is one of those shoot in here because one of them's got to have some relief. I tell you, this is going to be a tough one. All right, who do you...
I live in Florida now, so I'll take my state school of Florida State.
And they're playing at Florida State, and I'll take Florida State to beat Duke. It'd be a big win for Florida State.
Yeah, Duke
they
basketball.
Duke's been horrible.
Yeah.
All right. Who do you want like, Forrest?
Florida State.
All right, everybody likes Florida State. And
actually, Florida State's been horrible too. So these are two horrible teams.
Okay. Been two horrible teams.
Terrible.
Well, you know, at first, the first part of the year, I thought Duke was pretty good, but they've fallen off on hard times, it looks like. So everybody takes Florida State. Nobody takes Duke.
Well, I mean, Cutcliffe, I don't know if this is his final year or not. They've really struggled this year.
Florida State came out as a 2-point favorite. Now they're a 5-point favorite, so somebody must like them. All right, the next one would be Utah at Colorado. Colorado is undefeated, Mike.
Yeah, very interesting line here. The line's only like around 2 for Colorado. I've watched Utah a couple times this year. You know, Jake Bentley, the kid out of Opelika, the transfer from South Carolina, is their quarterback. But they just don't look like the same Utah. I'm going to take Colorado to win at home.
So Bentley is a Utah quarterback.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, who do you like, Forrest?
The Buffaloes.
Mike, you like the Buffaloes too?
Yeah.
All right. The Oklahoma at West Virginia is a no-no. They're not going to play. Is that right?
Cancel.
Yeah, so that means West Virginia will finish their season at 5-4. So I guess Neil Brown will have a winning record.
Well, what about the bowl games though? Will they didn't win 6
yeah,
games?
they would be eligible for a bowl game. I would imagine they'll go to a bowl.
All right, so okay. All right, so that game is off. Coastal, and we're gonna go ahead and talk about it right now. Coastal Carolina at Troy, and of course, this is a big game for Troy. If they win this game, they could play Thursday for the right to go to a bowl game, pretty much, as they play Louisiana Monroe on Thursday night. So Troy plays a tough one with Coastal, and then 5 days later they play at home against Louisiana Monroe on a Thursday night. Who do you like?
Oh, I mean, let's just hope that both these games take place. You know, Monroe fired their coach, so who knows what's going on over there. I think this game comes down to the line of scrimmage, and I feel like, unfortunately, Troy does not have the offensive line play to go up against Coastal's defensive line. I think, you know, unfortunately, the lack of running game, it got a little bit better last week against South Alabama with Bedell being back. Made a little bit of a difference. I think they rushed for 100 yards, but Troy's going to have to find a way to somehow get 3 or 4 turnovers. Hopefully, Coastal will come out flat due to the game against BYU being so physical. I know they got some guys hurt as well. I'll take Coastal to win the game. I think Troy might even be leading at halftime, but I think Coastal will win the game 34 to 23.
34 to 23. You're going to take Coastal 34 to 23. There's a little echo, Steve, in this mic here. I don't know how.
Yeah, it almost sounds like Will Matthews is still on the phone, like in a car.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
Hang up.
That's you. You're echoing.
Yeah, it's yours that's echoing, it seems like, right now. But, okay, who do you like here, Forrest?
Well, I'm for Troy, but logically, I'm going to have to pick Coastal. And my score, 42-21. Coastal.
Okay, Coastal. All right, I'm taking Troy in a dramatic finish. Troy to win 37 to 34. It would be a huge win for Troy, and I believe they've got the manpower to do it. And evidently, Coastal is fuming. They don't want to play this game. They're not. They've got to look in 2 weeks playing for the championship against Louisiana Lafayette in the conference championship. So there'll be no question looking ahead for that game, which will be for the conference championship. And of course, Louisiana not only has off this week, then has 10, 12, 14 days to get ready for Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina is undefeated, but not after Saturday. Troy will upset Coastal Carolina 37-34. Okay.
Coastal will host that game in their home stadium for the championship, so that is one advantage they'll have. I think Troy will be under that 13.5. I think Troy will get under that number.
I think if Troy can score early and get a lot of confidence early, they can win this ball game. Troy's got last week. Now everybody said, well, South Alabama didn't play hard or whatever. Well, it was a rival game. I don't think it was anything about not playing hard. Troy was just that much better last Saturday, don't you think?
I do. We were crisp.
So if Troy can play that way and continue to play with that kind of confidence, and I'm going to tell you what, the quarterback play was excellent last week, but now they're playing a different cat. They're playing a different cat. It's just like a boxer out there. One of them's got one arm and the other one's got two. It's that kind of difference in a way as far as the way the folks look at this game, because Coastal is the 11th ranked team in the country. I say Troy's going to upset them, and we'll talk about that on Monday.
You know, Coastal, it really is an amazing turnaround. I mentioned it earlier in the show. They won 5 games last year, 3 games the year before. So it really is amazing what this football program has done.
And I said already many times, when they beat Troy, they beat them in overtime, and it was a fluke play, and it was a play that was really a lot of people got upset about. But they gave.
They called pass interference on Troy.
Yeah, called pass interference.
Then they got another chance to go for 2.
On a ball that was thrown something like 6 or 8 feet over the guy's head, and they still called a pass interference, But let's just say this: when they beat Troy last year, you would have thought they had won the world championship. I said something to somebody that I was watching the game with. I said, "Man, this game really meant a lot to them, didn't it?" And sure, it did. And what it was. After that, they didn't lose another game. and hadn't lost since they played Troy. Well, they didn't lose then.
They went 5-7 last year. They didn't get bowl eligible.
Yeah, and of course haven't lost a game since they played Troy. Let's say that. Okay, Houston at Memphis, and what's happened to Memphis, Mike? They're not the same team that they started out to be.
They've had a lot of opt-out. A lot of guys just went ahead and tried to get ready for the NFL draft. Houston struggled as well, been able to play games. I'll take Houston.
For some reason, I like Houston too. I'm thinking that Houston's going to want this thing worse than Memphis. I could be wrong, but the game is played though at Memphis, Mike. Oh, I can't. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna take Memphis. And Mike, you like Houston? Is that right?
Yeah, Houston's a 5-point favorite.
All right, okay, and I'm gonna take Memphis at home.
And I'm going to take Memphis as well. Thank you very much.
Okay, Forrest Lee takes Memphis.
Go visit Graceland.
Yeah, make sure.
Bah.
Yeah. Do you reckon they take the teams on Friday by Elvis's grave? And
they may drive by it.
Man, that's way out of the way.
It's probably one of the most. It's probably one of the most looked at. Let me just say this, and excuse me if I don't mean any disrespect, but Elvis's grave is probably witnessed by more people than maybe anybody's grave in the world. You know, it's really been looked at a lot over the years. Of course, you know there's a lot of famous graves, but none much more famous than Elvis's grave.
Do you know what his middle name is?
No, I don't.
Aaron.
Elvis Aaron
Presley.
Okay.
Had a twin brother to die at birth.
And he was born in
Tupelo, Mississippi.
Yeah, Tupelo, Mississippi.
I think that's
Can
right.
you imagine if Bear Bryant's grave was in Tuscaloosa? How many people would visit that?
I think they made a bad mistake when they didn't bury him in Tuscaloosa, right there in that graveyard. But it would create a havoc though every game though. They'd have to have security around it and all that, you know.
He's at the huge cemetery in Birmingham.
And just very modest. I've been to his grave several times. It's very modest.
And Ray Perkins' funeral is Monday, and I think he's going to be buried in Birmingham. Is that right, Mike?
That's surprising.
I read it. Birmingham or
I don't know.
Tuscaloosa.
I figured he would be buried back home in Mississippi.
No, I read
Pebble,
it. It's in
Mississippi.
Alabama. It's in Alabama.
Yeah. He was living in Tuscaloosa, Mike, when he died. You know, or actually Northport.
He was living out in North River, I heard.
Yeah, Northport, which is a very nice place to live, no question about it. That's where Saban lives. Okay, let's say Oklahoma State at Baylor. Who do y'all like there?
I'm going to pick Oklahoma State.
You know, Baylor played, who was it Baylor played so well? They played Oklahoma pretty well last week, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. You know, Oklahoma State lost 2 or 3 games now. They just got beat by TCU. I'm going to take Oklahoma State. I just can't take Baylor. I don't think they have enough offense. I'm
going to take Baylor. I'm going to take Baylor in upset. You got Oklahoma State. Okay. Georgia at Missouri, and here's my first upset special of the week. I think Missouri will beat Georgia. I'm going to take Missouri to beat Georgia tomorrow. Who do y'all like?
I'm going with them Dogs.
Are you going with the Dogs? And, of course, they're getting this new quarterback's helped them a lot.
Yeah.
Just something about Missouri. Missouri finds a way to win. I don't know what they've been doing. But
JT Daniels has played pretty well at quarterback for Georgia. I just can't see Kirby losing this game. This is too big of a game for them to go over there and lose.
Yeah.
Missouri's defense is pretty awful. I'll take Georgia.
Okay, remember the coach can't play. The coach can't play. All right, Tennessee at Vanderbilt. I'm not going to pick an upset here, but I think Vanderbilt will play them a lot tougher. Tennessee's not very good. Is Tennessee coach lose his job, or is he going to lose his job, or what's the deal?
Well, he just got a contract extension. So
Oh, okay.
He'll lose his job. I guess we'll see. I guess
No, he won't. If they've got to.
Do they want to try to go get Hugh Freeze? I guess would be the question.
Yeah.
Tennessee's a 16-point favorite. I'll take Tennessee.
And Drew Brees, I mean, not Drew Brees, but Liberty is going to play in Troy next year.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, everybody takes Tennessee. Is that
I'm
right?
going to take Tennessee, the Volunteers.
All right.
Liberty's big issue is they've got to join the conference. They've got to find a conference to get in.
Yeah, okay. All right, Iowa at Wisconsin, and this game at one time would have been a good one, but right now Iowa seems like they're playing much better football than Wisconsin. I'm going to take Iowa.
Yeah, this game's at Iowa. Somehow Wisconsin is a point favorite. I think Iowa's won 5 in a row. Very interesting game for Vegas to have Wisconsin favored.
Yeah. I'm sorry I wrote that down wrong, but you're right. They are playing at Iowa. So
I'll take Iowa as well. I like Iowa. I'm watching the Pythons this year.
I'm picking Iowa.
Okay, Purdue at Indiana, and let me make
not
sure.
Playing.
They're not playing. Put a fork in that one. Then is their season over? You think? Indiana.
Yeah, I believe everyone's
Well,
done.
Indiana knows got to play for a conference championship, don't they?
No.
Yeah, Ohio State's
Ohio.
going to play Northwestern.
Yeah.
Oh no, Northwestern. I got you. All right, so no game there. So mark through that
And I
game.
think that's COVID issues with Indiana.
Yeah.
Is what I've read.
Michigan State at Penn State. Penn State's on a little bit of a roll here. I'm going to take Penn State. I don't know what's happened to Michigan State, but they're not very good. Who do you like, Mike?
They beat Northwestern, and now they're kind of playing horrible. I'll take Penn State. Penn State's a 14-point favorite.
I'll go with the Nittany Lions.
All right, he'll take the Nittany Lions. Won't be any whiteouts this year. But, you know, they said this, and I was going to mention this. Of course, Auburn, I think, is a top 10. And, you know, but they say Penn State, when they white out at night, is the hardest place to win in America. Or it has more fanfare than any home field advantage in the country.
What's down in that bowl? Isn't it kind of in a bowl?
Yeah, they white out like, I mean, everything's white. And what I'm saying is it's a very unique home field advantage. Okay, we've got App State at Georgia Southern. I got a feeling here I'm going to take Georgia Southern to beat them, Mike. They're going to beat them. What do you think?
Yeah, this could be a good game. App State's actually lost 3 games. Very close games to Lafayette. They lost let's see, who's App State? Marshall. And they lost Lafayette, and they lost Coastal Carolina, all close games. I'll take App State to beat Georgia Southern.
You do? Okay. All right. Who do you like, Forrest?
I'm going to take, sorry, Jody, I'm not picking you. I apologize to my wife and her alma mater. I'm going to pick App State as well.
Okay.
I do think Georgia Southern gets under that number, though. That number's 9.5. I like Georgia Southern's points.
And they're playing at Georgia Southern. I like it. This is a situation up front. If Georgia Southern can play tough up front, or anybody that plays App State, if you can stop them up front, you got a chance to beat them. I reckon anybody can say that. Our last one before our commercial break is LSU at Florida, and this is a game that Florida doesn't want to play. They better be careful, though, a little bit. Let me just tell you, I thought LSU moved the ball at times very well against Alabama.
Well, the thing there is they had another receiver to opt out this past weekend. They took the big number 2, the tight end, gone.
That's right.
So who's he going to throw to? Well, there's athletes still on the cupboards.
I'll take Florida. But
he's going to throw that guy that dropped the ball at the 2-yard line going in for a sure touchdown.
Yeah, that's right. You know the reason, all of that fanfare about that play, everybody saying, oh, it was a terrible, terrible call. It wasn't because the referee saw the LSU player picked the ball up and scored. See, so he saw that and he didn't think anything of it. I bet they read that thing back 20 times, and the official knew already that the LSU teammate picked it up for the touchdown.
Right.
I mean, they never talked about that.
They never did talk about it. No question about it. We're going to take a short break. We're brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass. Jason says there's nobody that'll beat a Premier deal. Nobody. We'll be back.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Merry Christmas from Stephen Sanders Trucking. Merry Christmas from Wiley Sanders Truck Line. Are you ready for these
Yes,
toys?
sir. Bring the toys to me. Merry
Let's have
Christmas.
fun. Merry Christmas. Let's have fun. Hurry, boys and girls, hurry. It's what time of the year?
Christmas time.
And what do we say?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you from Wiley Sanders Truck Line and Stephen Sanders Trucking.
Let's make this the biggest toy drive ever. Townsend's, Troy Cable, Trojan Detail. Those are your drop-off points.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
Trust me, Lee and I need a break.
Yeah. Oh, man. Those pictures were beautiful, man. We got them up in our house now. Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope that you're enjoying our show. We're laid back television at its very best. We're on Facebook across the country, across the world. In fact, we're located on South Brunnage Street at Troy Cablevision, one of the outstanding cable companies in America, Troy Cable of Troy, Alabama. And of course, if you'd like to call in and give your prediction, you're welcome to. We'd love to have you. Forrest Lee, of course, is my good friend and a former educator, retired, and a former football coach, retired, and a guy that made Goshen a winner many times over again, Forrest Lee.
Well, I don't know
It
about
is all
that.
mine.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I will say.
I wish you knew how to shoot a bow and arrow. Maybe that could have.
Yeah, he is Mr. Bow and Arrow. Let me tell you this: if you want to go to bow and arrow school, he is the guru when it comes to bow and arrows.
Going back to Goshen now, as a manager, we suffered through a lot of losing games in football, but my greatest memory in Goshen was when Coach Whitman led Goshen. We beat Louisville in Louisville 20-6 or 20-8 to break like a 26, 27 game losing streak, and that's my favorite memory of high school football.
Yeah. Well, I was
get
on
off the snide.
I was on the phone this week, and of course, Benny,
you
know, everybody's got their mind on you and your family, and God's gonna get you through it. I promise you. Yeah. And but Bob Booth, I was on the phone with him just a couple of days ago, and he took a Goshen team, went 10-0. You remember that?
I think they lost one game.
Lost to Union Springs.
They lost to Union Springs. And then he left, and he ended up coming back after I graduated. And
yeah,
I think
very good coach at Pike County High School too.
Yeah.
Deserves to be in the Wiregrass Hall of Fame now. That's something that I'd like to see, because he was a outstanding football coach.
Mm-hmm. You know,
an outstanding guy.
Miss Joan Beard, her maiden name is Wood. She graduated in 1959 from Goshen, I believe.
That's right.
Cheerleader, majorette, and
let me tell you, her brother Jerry,
All-State,
who she loved so much. You know, we lost him less than a year ago. You know where he lived? home of the Oklahoma Sooners.
Norman.
Oklahoma.
Okay.
That's where he lived, in Norman, Oklahoma. That's right.
You know, I was reading about this Joan. They said at halftime she was a cheerleader during the game, but at halftime she would change into her majorette outfit.
Yeah.
And was a part of the band. Isn't that amazing?
I tell you, Ben, if you're watching, you outkicked your coverage, and Spence, if he's not by the set, you go ahead and tell him that he outkicked his coverage when he married Joan, and everybody. One of the great couples of all time, Benny and Joan Beard, and her legacy will live on and on through her daughters and her granddaughters, and her great granddaddy daughters one day.
Right.
Okay, let's get started.
We'll finish up.
Let's finish up. I've got 9 minutes to get to the show over. Okay, North Carolina and Miami. Now, Miami is a team that people are sort of ignoring, but what a year for Miami. And Mike, I think they wear North Carolina out. I really do.
I pick Miami.
Miami's playing real good ball.
Two ranked teams playing. Miami's only lost one game. Manny Diaz has done a good job. I'll take Miami at home as well.
Now, and of course, you know, the old man of college football, Mac Brown, has got North Carolina playing well. But, Mike, this guy at Miami, didn't he used to coach in Middle Tennessee?
Yeah, he's defense coordinator there for years.
And Troy used to wear him out. I don't know if he ever beat Troy back then in those days. Okay, Virginia at Virginia Tech. Boy, this game I think will be a very good football game. But I like Virginia. I think they're playing well, even though they're playing at Virginia Tech. Who do you like?
You know, Virginia Tech's been extremely disappointing, and Virginia's been pretty hot lately. I'll take Virginia.
Yeah, they have been pretty hot lately. Forrest, who do you like here?
Virginia.
Okay, so everybody likes Virginia. Everybody likes Miami. Those will be some pretty good games right here. All right, Minnesota at Nebraska. What happened to the red and white, Mike?
I don't know. They had a big win last weekend. I'll take Nebraska at home. Minnesota, I think half the team opted out.
Yeah. Let me tell you a quick story. Nebraska football. They lose to Alabama in the Orange Bowl. This is back in, I want to say, 64, 65, somewhere in that range. And led by Steve Sloan. The game was played in the Orange Bowl, and Alabama just dominated them with Steve Sloan at the quarterback position. But the wide receiver that was most valuable player in that game was a guy that we just lost recently. Ray Perkins was an All-American at Alabama. He was a star player in that game. And then the next year, Alabama, undefeated with a quarterback named Ken Stabler, had a wide receiver named Dennis Holman, but Ray Perkins was the main dude in that game, and I think he was the most valuable player again 2 years in a row. But after that, after Perkins and Sloan and Perkins and Snake Stabler put on a show against Nebraska, they went out and started recruiting players in the South, especially down in Florida. They got more speed, and that is the rest of the story. From there on out, Nebraska got to be very good in football.
They sure did.
But it took.
You know, it's funny how you don't know the history of a player and a coach. I never knew the story of how he almost died from that collision on the practice field. And got raised
He had a medal. He had a medal in his head. I know that. He had to have brain surgery.
That was a crazy story. I never knew that. Brian was by his bed, worked, you know, every day, worried if he was going to live or not.
Yeah, he was real fast. Perkins was real fast, and of course Dennis Holman was real fast, and both of them were great receivers at Alabama. Minnesota and Nebraska. Mike, Minnesota is not as good as they were the first of the year. What do you think?
They've been awful all year. I'll take Nebraska.
All right, Nebraska to win that game. So he's got Nebraska playing pretty good. Is that right? I'll take them too.
Cornhuskers for me.
You know, I didn't realize Ohio State's got a day. They're just going to sit back. Northwestern.
Oh, it's really not fair. They've got too easy a run. Illinois at Northwestern, and Northwestern's going to play Ohio State for the championship next week. All right, who do you like?
I got Northwestern.
Northwestern. They're getting a lot of exposure here. And you know what? Johnny Musso's boys, both of them played at Northwestern. Did y'all know that?
No.
Yeah, that's right.
San Diego State at BYU. I feel sorry for San Diego State. BYU is going to beat them 100-0.
BYU.
I'm going to take BYU. Mike, who do you like?
BYU.
Okay, Army-Navy. And can you believe this? This is game usually the only game out there every year, the Army-Navy deal. And they have it in Philadelphia, and it's probably the most scenic, most beautiful setting for a college football game in the country every year. They're going to play the game at West Point, New York.
Yes, sir. First time since I think 1943, and I pick Army.
And we need to go because Troy's going to be playing them up there on it year in and year out for the next 6 or 7 years, I think.
I'll take Army.
I'll take Army to beat Navy too. But that game was dominated by Navy for a long time. All right, here we go. Southern Cal. They'll play at home against UCLA. Did you know? And please correct me if I'm wrong. UCLA's undefeated.
No, UCLA. I think 2-3 or.
Oh, all right. Southern Cal's undefeated.
Southern Cal's undefeated. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna take Southern Cal. What do you do with Southern Cal?
Southern Cal is going to play. They're 2.5-point favorite at UCLA. This is my upset of the week. I'm taking UCLA.
Okay, UCLA to beat Southern Cal. The coach at UCLA is one of your favorites, Mike.
Chip Kelly.
Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly. Where was that he gained all of his fame, Mike?
Oregon.
Oklahoma State.
Oregon.
Oh, Oregon. Yeah, at Oregon. Yeah.
I'm gonna pick Southern California.
All right, Southern Cal. Washington at Oregon, and Washington got beat this past week. Are they going to play that game?
No.
They're not going to play that game?
I believe that's correct.
UCLA is actually 3-2.
Okay. All right, Washington and Oregon, Mike, are they going to play that game? I don't think they are.
I don't remember seeing that game. Let me look.
There's several games that are canceled, and I'm thinking that is one of them. And then also,
go to the next game.
All right, Rice, UAB is playing at Rice, Mike. Is that the way it works? I've got UAB playing at home, Mike.
UAB's out 25 starters.
Okay, and are they gonna play?
Yeah, they're 7-point favorite.
All right, the game's played at UAB or is that Rice?
At Rice.
All right, okay. I'll take UAB.
I'm gonna take Rice.
They haven't played a game in a month.
Rice, baby.
Boy, UAB.
I'm gonna take Rice because they just beat Marshall at Marshall. I feel like they got some confidence.
Did we ever get a decision on the Washington-Oregon game? Are they gonna play?
It's not on the board.
Not on the board, so take it off right now. All right, Alabama at Arkansas. I'll take Alabama, and my score will be. This is me. My score will be 52-24. Alabama, 52-24. Who do you like?
Boris, you want to go?
Yes, I'll take the University of Alabama 45, Arkansas 10.
All right, 45-10. Who do you like, Mike?
Amazing stat here. Alabama scored over 35 points, 22 straight games. Think about that.
That's a record. I know it's in.
It's 22 straight games. I'll say Alabama wins, but I think Arkansas will cover. I think the score will be Alabama 49, Arkansas 27.
Well, what is the line, Mike?
32.
Oh, boy. Auburn at Mississippi State, and ladies and gentlemen, I think it's just been too tough on Auburn. But you know what? This was going to be tough. I'm going to take Auburn to win the game. I can't go with Mississippi State over Auburn. Who do you like, Mike?
Man, I know they've had a couple weeks to get ready for Auburn. Mississippi State's just down so many players. So many guys opted out. So many guys due to COVID. I think that Auburn will have to find a way to
All right,
win this
quickly.
game. I think it'll be close.
Quickly.
I think Auburn.
How much?
What score?
Oh, you got a name score?
Yeah.
I'll say Auburn 31-20.
31-24.
Auburn 27, Mississippi State 24.
And I'll take Auburn 41, Mississippi State 21. And that is the final scores of this week's Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram Trucks Picks of the Week. They've got all kinds of specials going on right now. Drop by and see them this weekend at Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram Trucks. And we appreciate them so much. Thank you, Forrest Lee.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike Amos. And have a great weekend, and go Trojans. Troy.
Yeah, go Trojan.
Troy to beat Coastal Carolina. If there's some Coastal Carolina people already here, you're going to get beat. Troy's going to beat you. For the rest of